Hello everybody, my name is Eric D. Johnson, also known as BrightShine. I live right here in the city of Memphis. It's in the county of Shelby, in the state of Tennessee. Today's date is early Sunday morning, June the 24th, 2018, time 4:07 a.m. First, say thank you to all my fans and my supporters for your continued encouragement and support. I'm continuing to keep myself employed right here in this Memphis tri-state area. I'm continuing to further my education at Monroe College Online. I'm pursuing my associate degree, studying business administration with a concentration in marketing. At this present time, I've taken a break from going to school, but in the very near future, I will be going back to Monroe College Online. I'm going to continue to further my education and pursue my associate's degree, studying business administration with concentration in marketing. And what I'm going to do right now, I'm going to do my Instagram. That's true. Hello everybody, my name is Eric D. Johnson, also known as BrightShine. I live right here in the city of Memphis, in the county of Shelby, in the state of Tennessee. Today's date is early Sunday morning, June the 24th, 2018, time. It's 4:09 a.m. First, say thank you to all my fans, my supporters for your continued encouragement and support. Anti-gang. Now these are just some of a few of the websites you can go to. They make free logo designs, anti-gang logos. First, want to give thanks to God for all the blessings and the guidance He provides. He provides us all with. Now, go continue to speak out. Go continue to complain about the nonsense. People saying they are gang plus stir, they are mob plus stir, they are boss, they are goon, they are thug. You know, people saying they are pimp, they are whore, they are Mac, they are player. You know, they are all this negative stuff. They are hood, they are crook, they are hoodlum. You know, it always you got to be something negative. You got to be something negative. You know, I'm gonna continue to complain and gonna continue to speak out. It will be anti-gang demonstrations. It's gonna be anti-gang protest. I'm gonna stand up for my human rights. So the sorority and the fraternity is a guarantee. I will demonstrate and I will protest for my human rights. I'm gonna stand up for my human rights. It will be anti-gang demonstration, anti-gang protest. When I go on my job, when I go to work, when I be in my place of employment, I'm not going to sit there and let anybody violate my human rights. It will be anti-gang demonstration, anti-gang protest. This is the International Bill of Human Rights, was a name given to the United Nations General Assembly Resolution 217 and two international treaties established by the United Nations. It consists of the Universal Declaration of Human Rights adopted in 1948, the International Covenant on Civil and Political Rights, 1966, with its two optional protocols, and the International Covenant on Economic, Social, and Cultural Rights, 1966. And this is the Convention on the Elimination of All Forms of Discrimination Against Women. It is an international treaty adopted in 1979 by the United Nations General Assembly, described as an International Bill of Rights for Women. It was instituted on 3rd September 1981 and has been ratified by 189 states. This is the Declaration of the Rights of the Child, sometimes known as the Geneva Declaration of the Rights of the Child. It is an international document promoting child rights, drafted by Eglantine Jebb and adopted by the League of Nations in 1924 and adopted in an extended form by the United Nations in 1959. This date has been adopted as a Universal Children's Day. This is the United Nations Convention on the Rights of the Child. Is a human rights treaty which sets out the civil, political, economic, social, health, and cultural rights of children. The convention defines a child as any human being under the age of 18 unless the age of majority is attained earlier under national legislation. Now, this is the world's oldest human rights organization, Anti-Slavery International. Now, this is the International Federation for Human Rights. 1922 is founded by some 20 national organizations on the initiative of French and German member organizations. It is the first international human rights organization. Its motto is Peace for Human Rights. Now, this is the world's oldest international conservation organization, BirdLife International. This is Fauna and Flora International, was the world's first international wildlife conservation organization. Now, this is the world's oldest global environmental organization, International Union for Conservation of Nature, and also the World Wildlife Fund. Now, these are some of the websites you can go to. They make free logo designs, anti-gang logos. what I'm doing now, I'm doing my Periscope video. Hello everybody, my name is Eric D. Johnson, also known as BrightShine. I live right here in the city of Memphis, the county sheriff is in the state of Tennessee. Today's date is early Sunday morning, June 24, 2018. The time is 4:27 a.m. First, say thank you to all my family and support for your continued encouragement and support. Anti-gang. Gonna continue to speak out. Gonna continue to complain about the nonsense. People saying they're a gang plus stir, mob plus stir. People saying they're a boss, they're a goon, they're a thug. People saying they're a crook, they're a hoodlum, they're a Mac, they're a player, they're a pimp, they're a whore, and all this negative stuff. There's always some negative that you got to say. It's going to be anti-gang demonstration, anti-gang protest. So the sorority fraternity, I will stand up for my human rights. I'm going to stand up for my human rights. It will be anti-gang demonstration, anti-gang protest. When I'm on my job, when I'm at work, my place of employment. I don't like nobody. I don't like nobody. Think you gonna walk all over my human rights. It will be anti-gang demonstration, anti-gang protest. That's a guarantee. It's a guarantee. Now, we've been having some thunderstorms in the area. Matter of fact, the power went out. Today is early Sunday morning. Well, early Saturday morning. It was late Friday night, just like this. Late Friday night, early Saturday morning. It was a thunderstorm. As a matter of fact, it's still thundering. It's a storm outside now. It's still thundering. But early Saturday morning, it was a real bad thunderstorm. Knocked down tree limbs, and it did some damage. But the power went out. Now this house, and then there were no trees outside. But then, there was a thunderstorm, and the power went out early Sunday morning. Power didn't come back on until Saturday evening. Around about I'd say about 8 o'clock, 8 p.m. in Saturday evening, the power finally came back on, and it's still on, but it's a thunderstorm outside now. So and I'm gonna do my video. I really haven't. I took a nap Saturday evening, and but other than that, I haven't been to sleep. And I'm gonna do my video, then go to sleep. But what we're gonna do right now, we're gonna go ahead and go to the Bible. Now, as I told you last week, my desktop is temporarily, it's down temporarily. I just haven't, went to the technician, but I got my laptop. But we're gonna go to the Bible right now. We're gonna go to the Bible right now. Now, as we prepare to go to the Bible, man-made religious organizations. You understand? Man-made religious organizations. Now, let's make sure my screen is like it's supposed to be. Now, as I was saying, man-made religious organizations, such as one of the oldest, man-made religious organizations, the Catholic Church, the Roman Catholic Church, and also some of these other man-made religious organizations that we've been talking about, such as the Protestant Reformation and all of their churches, and the Baptist Church got a breakaway church, and the American Restoration Movement, all man-made religious organizations. Now, let's don't forget the groups. The Moorish Science Temple, the Nation of Islam, the 5%, what they call them, the Black Hebrew Israelites, the Rastafarians, all man-made religious organizations. Now, when it comes to these groups, the Federal Bureau of Investigation, the Justice Department, the United States Justice Department, the Federal Bureau of Investigation, they have a file, an investigation file on the Moorish Science Temple, on the Nation of Islam, on the 5% Nation, on the Black Hebrew Israelites. Now, when we say these names, they do have breakaway groups or splinter groups up under this title, and also the Rastafarians. You understand? And then you have some of these like civic groups, or like they'll support the Rastafarians or some group, some type of civic or political organization. They'll still be, because they really be the members of the group, and they'll start some type of civic organization, some charitable, some type of charitable non-profit organization, but it still be, that group. And like I say, the Federal Bureau of Investigation, they have a file. They investigate these groups and their splinter groups, their breakaway groups, and all this. Now, when it comes to the Moorish Science Temple, and the Nation, and all these groups, the Nation, the Federal Bureau of Investigation, they did investigate, and they still investigate. W.D. Farr Muhammad. W.D. Farr Muhammad. Matter of fact, let's go to the laptop here. Let's get the laptop. Get the laptop here. Okay, let me see here. Now it says here, now we using a quick reference. Everybody, we use the quick reference. Wikipedia. They say his name is Wallace Far Muhammad. Now they really not sure about his birth or date or the day he died. Now they claim that he was born on February the 26th, 1877. We don't really know when he died. Okay, so now he had various aliases. What time? I didn't spend too much time on this. Now, they talking about somebody named Dodd. Fred Dodd. And they said he married some woman named Pearl Allen in Montgomery County, Oregon, on May 9, 1914. And they say they had a child, first child, a son. Said they had a son. Then said Dodd left his family in 1910, moved to Los Angeles. They say during the World War I, draft registration card for Wally Dodd Farr from 1917 indicated he was living in Los Angeles, unmarried, as a restaurant owner reported. He was born in Shinka, Afghanistan on February 26, 1893. Okay, let me see here. So, like I said, I ain't gonna spend too much more time on that because, but when you have time, you can go to the same Wikipedia page that I went to and get information on this Wallace. What's his name? Wallace D. Farr, also known as Wallace Farr Muhammad. And so, let me clear this page out. So, like as I said, get as much information as you can on the Moral Science Temple, on the Nation of Islam, on the 5% Nation, on all these, what they call them, they all up under the same title, the Black Hebrew Israelites. Now they'll call themselves a Black Hebrew Israelite. Then you'll see all these different branches or, breakaway organizations from the Black Hebrew Israelites. So get as much information as you can, and also on the Rastafarians, because and like I said, they're the people who are members of these different organizations. They'll start civic groups, political groups. They'll start some type of business or whatever. And it be the same individuals. Get as much information on these, and you go outside the United States. Matter of fact, go to governments all around the world on this Farr W. What's his name? Wallace D. Farr Muhammad. And on these organizations, get as much information as you can. Now, like we were saying, the Catholic Church, man-made religious organization. Now, while we're online, let's go to the quick reference. Wikipedia. Now, like I said, we're on a quick reference, Wikipedia, on the Catholic Church. Now, the Catholic Church, also known as the Roman Catholic Church, trying to adjust my chair, okay, is the largest Christian church with more than 1.299 billion members worldwide. One of the oldest religious institutions in the world. Now, the church doctrine. Now, the church is headed by the Bishop of Rome, also known as the Pope. And then the church doctrine, summarized in the Nicene Creed, central administrator, the Holy See, is in the Vatican City and enclave within Rome, Italy. Now, the Catholic Church teaches it is the one holy, Catholic, and apostolic church founded by Jesus Christ. That his bishops are the successors of Christ, apostles, and that the Pope is the successor of St. Peter, to whom primacy was conferred by Jesus Christ. Now, it maintains that it practices the original Christian faith, preserving infallibility passed down by sacred tradition. The Latin Church, the Eastern Catholic churches, and institutes such as Dominican orders and enclosed monastic orders reflect a variety of theological, spiritual emphasis in the church. Now, it says of its seven sacraments, the Eucharist is the principal one celebrated liturgically in the Mass. The Church teaches that through consecration by a priest, the sacrificial bread and wine become the body and blood of Christ. The Virgin Mary is venerated in the Catholic Church as Mother of God and Queen of Heaven, honor in dogmas and devotions. Its teaching includes sanctification through faith and evangelicalism of the gospel, as well as Catholic social teaching, which emphasizes voluntary support for the sick, the poor, and the afflicted through the corporal and spiritual works of mercy. Now, the word Catholic is from Greek. Literally means universal. Was first used to describe the church in the early 2nd century. First known use of the phrase the Catholic Church occurred in a letter written about 110 AD from St. Ignatius of Antioch to the Smyrnaeans. Okay. Now, the canon law of the Catholic Church is the system of laws and legal principles made and enforced by the hierarchical authorities to regulate the church, external organizations, and government, and to order and direct the activities of Catholics throughout the church's mission. Okay, let me see. Now, particular churches are grouped by rite, R-I-T-E, rite. You had the Latin rite, that's Latin. Then you had the Alexandrian rite, that's the Coptic, Ethiopian, and Eritrean churches. Then you had your Armenian rite. Then you had your Byzantine rite, that's the Albanian, Belarusian, Bulgarian, Croatian, and Serbian, Greek, Hungarian, Italo-Albanian, Macedonian, Melkite, the Romanian, Russian, Ruthenian, Slovak, and Ukrainian. Then you have your East Syrian rite, Chaldean, Syro-Malabar. Okay, that was the East Syrian rite. Then you had your West Syrian rite. Okay, well, your East Syrian rite is the Chaldean and Syro-Malabar, and your West Syrian rite, Maronite, Syriac, Syro-Malankara. So that's just basic of the Catholic Church. Now, everyone who was watching, listening, I'm on the quick reference Wikipedia. Now let's go over here to the Protestant Reformation. Okay, like I said, we're on the quick reference Wikipedia, and we talking the Reformation, or the Protestant Reformation, also known as the European Reformation. It says here it was a schism in Western Christianity initiated by Martin Luther and continued by Hodrick Zwingli. What's it? Zwingli, John Calvin, and other Protestant reformers in 16th century Europe. He said usually considered to have started with the publication of the 95 Theses by Martin Luther in 1517 and lasted until the end of 30 years. The 30 Years' War in 1648. It led to the division of Western Christianity to different confessions: Catholic, Lutheran, Reformed, Anglican, Anabaptist, Unitarian, etc. By the time of its arrival, Western Christianity was only comprised in the lands of the Bohemian crown, where ultra-Christ Hussitism was officially acknowledged by both the Pope and the Roman Holy Emperor. In addition, various movements, including Lollers in England and waiting centers in Italy and France, were still being actively suppressed. Okay, it says here, although there have been earlier attempts to reform the Catholic Church, such as those of Jan Hus, Peter Waldo, John Wycliffe, and Giordano Sabonarti. Okay, when it comes to the Protestants, you have major branches: Adventism, Anabaptism, Anglicanism, Baptist churches. Now you know the Baptist church has a breakaway church, the Church of God in Christ. You have Calvinism and Lutheranism. You have Methodism, Pentecostalism, okay, there you go. So that's the Protestants. Let's see, go back up here. Okay. Now, you have your minor branches. Hussitism, Waldensianon, Plymouth Brethren, Holiness Movement, Quakerism, and multiple others. Then you had an interdenominational movement. It's evangelicalism, charismatic movement, and non-charismatic movement. Now that was the interdenominational movement. Now, yeah, your other developments, and Arminianism, Pietism, Puritanism, Neo-Orthodoxy, Paleo-Orthodoxy, Christian fundamentalism, modernism, and liberation. Now let's go over to the American Restoration Movement. Now we're on a quick reference, Wikipedia. Now we're over here on the Restoration Movement. The Restoration Movement, also known as the American Restoration Movement or the Stone Campbell Movement, and pejoratively as Campbellism, is a Christian movement that began on the United States frontier during the Second Great Awakening, 1790-1840. Of the early 19th century, the pioneers of this movement were seeking to reform the church from within and sought the unification of all Christians in a single body, patterned after the church of the New Testament, especially since the mid-20th century. Members of these churches do not identify as Protestant, but simply as Christian. The Restoration Movement developed from several independent strands of religious revival. They idolized early Christianity. Two groups which independently discerned Okay, let me see here. Okay. It says the Restoration Movement developed from several independent strands of religious revival that idealized early Christianity to perhaps which independently devised similar approaches to the Christian faith were particularly important. The first, led by Barton W. Stone, began a Christian it says identified as Christianity. The second began in western Pennsylvania and Virginia. Now West Virginia is in the the second began okay, it says here the second began in western Pennsylvania and Virginia, one of them now West Virginia. Okay, it says here the second began in western Pennsylvania and Virginia on west. The second began in Restoration let's see okay, whatever. Okay, let me see. In western Pennsylvania and Virginia, now West Virginia, and was led by Thomas Kelly, and such. Now, the Restoration Movement has since divided into multiple separate groups. There are three main branches in the U.S. the Churches of Christ, the unaffiliated, also disciples of Christ. Both groups sought to merge. Okay, so that's the American Restoration Movement. I didn't get a chance to set the clock on this laptop. Okay. So like I said, that's the American Restoration Movement, 3 main branches. Now put the laptop down. Now let's go to the Bible. Let's go to the book of Acts. We're going to go to chapter 1, the book of Acts, chapter 1. The former treatise have I made, O Theophilus, of all that Jesus began both to do and teach, until the day in which he was taken up. After that he threw the Holy Ghost had given commandments unto the apostles, whom he had chosen, to whom also he shewed himself alive after his passion by many infallible proofs, being seen of them 40 days, and speaking of the things pertaining to the kingdom of God, and being assembled together with them, commanded them that they should not depart from Jerusalem, but wait for the promise of the Father, which saith he, Ye have heard of me, but John truly baptized with water, but ye shall be baptized with the Holy Ghost not many days hence. When they therefore were come together, they answered him, saying, Lord, wilt thou at this time restore again the kingdom to Israel? And he said unto them, It is not for you to know the times or the seasons which the Father hath put in his own power. When ye shall receive power, after that the Holy Ghost is come upon you, and ye shall be witnesses but ye shall receive power after that the Holy Ghost is come upon you, and ye shall be witnesses unto me both in Jerusalem and all Judea and Samaria. Must man and Samaria and unto okay. And when he had spoken these things while they beheld, he was taken up, and a cloud received him out of their sight. And while they looked steadfastly toward heaven as he went up, behold, two men stood by them in white apparel, which also said, Ye men of Galilee, why stand ye gazing up into heaven? This same Jesus which is taken up from you unto heaven shall so come in like manner as ye have seen him go into heaven. Then returned they unto Jerusalem from the mount called Olivet. And when they were come in, they went up into an upper room, whereby both Peter and James and John and Andrew, Philip, and Thomas Bartholomew, and Matthew, James, the son of Alphaeus, and these all continued with one accord in prayer and supplication. And a woman in those days Peter stood up in the midst of the disciples, and thereby And in those days Peter stood up in the midst of the disciples and said, okay, Men and brethren, this scripture must needs have been fulfilled, which the Holy Ghost by the mouth of David spake before concerning Judas, which was guide to them that now this man purchased a field with the reward of iniquity, and falling headlong, he burst asunder in the midst, and all his guiles bowed and gushed out. And when it was known unto all the dwellers at Jerusalem, and it was known unto all the dwellers at Jerusalem, insomuch as their fields called in their proper tongue a settlement, that is to say, the resurrection. For it is written in the book of Psalms, let his habitation be desolate. Wherefore these men which have come in with us all the time, beginning from the baptism of John to that same day that he was taken up with us, and they appointed to Joseph of that he may take part of this ministry and bear apostleship, from which Judas, that's transgressingly, now, the man-made religious organization. This is one of the scriptures they use. Romans chapter 16, verse 16. Salute one another with an holy kiss. The church with the suffix es, churches of Christ salute you. Now this is 2 Thessalonians chapter 1, verse 4. So that we ourselves glory in you in the church with the suffix es, and God for your patience and faith in all your persecution and tribulation that ye endure. Now, there are 3 places in the Bible that the word Christian is in the Bible. The first place is the book of Acts chapter 11 verse 26. It's the first place. Now the second place in the Bible that you find the word Christian, that you see the word Christian. Turn to the Acts chapter 26. Verse 28, Acts chapter 26, verse 28. Then Agrippa said unto Paul, almost thou persuadest me to be a Christian. The third place, now we're in 1 Peter chapter 3, verses 14, 15, and 16, 17 and 18, all 5 verses. Now, we know that the Apostle Paul was supposed to gotten converted. We in Acts chapter 9, verse number 1. Acts chapter, no, First Peter, chapter 3. Now, the turn back. What we're looking at now is Acts chapter First Peter chapter 4. Go to First Peter chapter 4 verse 16. I heard a thunderstorm outside. Okay, that's Second Peter. First Peter. Okay, First Peter. Now this is the third place in the Bible. First Peter chapter 4 verse 16. Yet if any man suffer as a Christian, let him not be ashamed, but let him glorify God on this behalf. Now we know we've been continuing to go over this scripture because we know it's been a lot of misinterpretation. There's been a lot of misinterpretation. The Apostle Peter did not tell anybody to be a Christian when he said, if any man suffer as a Christian. When you suffer in this scripture, you're not suffering because it's something right. You're suffering because it's a punishment. That's the reason why you suffer. You're being punished. That's what Apostle Peter telling you that it's wrong. That saying you're a Christian, when you say that, it's an insult. You're being insulted. That's what it is. That's what it is. That's the reason why the Apostle Peter tell you, you've been lied to. And now you lying. You've been lied to and you've been lying. Yet if any man suffer as a Christian, so First Peter chapter 4 yet if any man suffer as a Christian, let him not be ashamed. When you are being punished for the wrong, you being reminded. You can claim, well, I didn't do anything. This is the Apostle Peter. It's the Apostle Peter that you're listening to. Because he's telling you, if any man suffer as a Christian, let him not be ashamed. Let him not be ashamed. And so it says in 1 Peter chapter 4 verse 16, yet if any man suffer as a Christian, let him not be ashamed, but let him glorify God on his behalf. Apostle Peter didn't tell you to be no Christian. He did not tell you to be no Christian. It's an insult to say Christian. That's what it means. You're being punished for wrong. That's what it is. It's wrong. And this is the Apostle Peter talking to you. It's the Apostle Peter talking to you. But let him glorify God on this behalf. When you being punished for the wrong you done, you're going to be ashamed. You're going to be ashamed. You think you're not going to be ashamed? You being punished for the wrong you done, and you're not going to be ashamed, and you being punished. But glorify God on this behalf. Now, when it comes to the apostle, the Saul from Tarsus, the self-proclaimed Apostle Paul, you know he lied. You know he's a liar. You're not supposed to be listening to Saul from Tarsus, the self-proclaimed Apostle Paul. He's a liar. He's a sinner. He's a sinner. He's sinning. And you sin for listening to him. And also 2 Peter chapter 3. The Apostle Peter exposes Saul from Tarsus, the self-proclaimed Apostle Paul. And account that the long suffering of our Lord is salvation, even as our beloved brother Paul also according to the wisdom you given unto him have and their beloved brother Paul Saul. So we know that the Apostle Peter exposed Saul from Tarsus, the self-proclaimed Apostle Paul, for being a sinner. Now we know that, what's his name? Saul from Tarsus, the self-proclaimed Apostle Paul. We know that the Apostle Paul lied. He lied. Saul from Tarsus, the self-proclaimed Apostle Paul. He lied. He lied. And so when we continue to talk about the Bible, it makes the devil mad. Yes, it do. It makes the devil mad. Now we know that Saul from Tarsus, the self-proclaimed Apostle Paul, he was converted in Acts chapter 9. He was converted in Acts chapter 9, supposedly. And they keep doing all this wrongful stuff. You're a sinner. You're a sinner. That's what he be doing. He be sinning. He be lying. Saul from Tarsus, self-proclaimed Apostle Paul, he be lying. Now this here is the start of the end of that Christian stuff. This is the end of that Christian stuff. We know that Saul was going around claiming, when you read his epistles, he be claiming that he's an apostle. He lying. He lying. You can't be no apostle. Jesus Christ chose his apostles. He chose his apostles. Now the apostles, they took lots. Matthias Harrell, and some other, they had a Saul from Tarsus lied. He claimed that he was an apostle. He was lying. He can't be no apostle. Now we've been talking about the Bible and the storm outside, and I've been trying my best to keep from falling asleep. I've been up for some hours. But we're gonna get through this. No problem. But because we're gonna continue to talk about these things because it's important. It's important. It's a misinterpretation with that Christian stuff, and it's a big misinterpretation. Reading all the lies that Saul told in his writing. Now it's almost 6 a.m. Okay. Now, put this over here. Now, we've been reading the Bible, and we're gonna come back and we're gonna continue. Long as the weather, it's thunderstorm out there now. My computer, the power go out. Well, but long as the power didn't go out, we're gonna come back. We're gonna come back. Now, let me see this. To answer questions that may be asked, did I drink some iced tea with sugar and caffeine? And yes. The answer to the question is yes. I drank 2 big glasses of iced tea, sugar, and the caffeine, in the iced tea. I guess that's why I'm still up. Okay. Now we continue to talk about African traditional religion, and as you know, African traditional religion is being taught at colleges and universities in sub-Saharan Africa. You can earn a bachelor's degree, PhD studying African traditional religion. Now, one of the books we're going to continue to read and refer to is titled West African Traditional Religion. It's written by Dr. Joseph Omasede Walelu, Dr. P. Adenumo Depemu. Another book we're going to read and refer to is titled African Traditional Religion Definition, written by Dr. E. Baloja Adowu. Another book we're going to continue to read and refer to is titled African Religion and Philosophy, written by Dr. John S. M. Beatty. Another book we're going to continue to read and refer to is titled Concepts of God in Africa, written by Dr. John S. M. Beatty. Now, examples of schools that teach African traditional religion. Joseph Omasede Malelu, PhD, Abadan. Senior Lecturer, African Traditional Religion, Department of Religious Studies, University of Ibadan, Nigeria. Dr. P. Adalumo Dupemu, PhD, Ibadan. Department of Religious Studies, University of Ilorin, Nigeria. Dr. Ibaloja Adowu, Professor of Religious Studies in the University of Ibadan, Nigeria. Dr. John S. Mbidi, born in Kenya and studied at Makerere University College in Uganda. Now, this is the International Bill of Human Rights, was a name given to the United Nations General Assembly Resolution 217 and two international treaties established by the United Nations. It consists of the Universal Declaration of Human Rights adopted in 1948, the International Covenant on Civil and Political Rights, 1966, with its two optional protocols, and the International Covenant on Economic, Social, and Cultural Rights, 1966. Now, this is the Convention on the Elimination of All Forms of Discrimination against Women. It is an international treaty adopted in 1979 by the United Nations General Assembly, described as an International Bill of Rights for Women. It was instituted on 3rd September 1981 and has been ratified by 189 states. Okay, now this is the Declaration of the Rights of the Child, sometimes known as the Geneva Declaration of the Rights of the Child. It's an international document promoting child rights, drafted by Eglantine Jebb and adopted by the League of Nations in 1924 and adopted in an extended form by the United Nations in 1959. This date has been adopted as the Universal Children's Day. Now, this is the United Nations Convention on the Rights of the Child. It's a human rights treaty which sets out the civil, political, economic, social, health, and cultural rights of children. The convention defines a child as any human being under the age of 18, unless the age of majority is attained earlier under national legislation. Now, this is the world's oldest human rights organization, Anti-Slavery International. This is the International Federation for Human Rights. In 1922, it was founded by some 20 national organizations on the initiative of French and German member organizations. It is the first international human rights organization. Its motto is Peace for Human Rights. Now, this is the world's oldest international conservation organization, BirdLife International. Now, this is Fauna and Flora International. Was the world's first international wildlife conservation organization. Now, this is the world's oldest global environmental organization, International Union for Conservation of Nature, and the World Wildlife Fund. Now, as you know, there's been a lot of nonsense, and I'm gonna continue to, to complain and speak out about the nonsense. People saying they are gang plus stir, mob plus stir. People saying they are boss, they are goon, they are hoodlum. People saying they are crook, they are hoodlum. You know, people saying they are Mac, they are player. People saying they are a pimp or a whore, or just any type of negative communication, you know. I be on my job, be at work, be at school. It's not right. And you have to speak out. It's a guarantee. It will be anti-gang demonstration, anti-gang protest. It's a guarantee. Now, the German government said to the United States government, anti-gang. The German government said to the United States government, anti-gang. Governments all around the world, they have to deal with crime. They have to deal with crime. Now, the United States government passed a law, the Organized Crime Control Act of 1970. Now, Title IX of the Organized Crime Control Act of 1970, the Racketeering Influence and Corrupt Organizations Act, is all anti-gang. And also the Comprehensive Drug Abuse Prevention and Control Act of 1970, the Controlled Substance Act, the Psychotropic Substances Act, the Continuing Criminal Enterprise Statute or Kingpin Statute. Now, the Comprehensive Anti-Gang Initiative, Office of Juvenile Justice and Links to Prevention, and Comprehensive Gang Model, Office of Juvenile Justice and Links to Prevention, the Bureau of Justice Assistance, Office of Justice Program, United States Department of Justice, the Office of Justice Program, Bureau of Justice Assistance, United States Department of Justice, Comprehensive Anti-Gang Initiative, and Project Safe Neighborhood, the U.S. Department of Justice, Office of Community-Oriented Policing Services, Comprehensive Anti-Gang Initiative, the United States Department of Justice, Office of Community-Oriented Policing Services, Comprehensive Anti-Gang Initiative, Office of Juvenile Justice and Links to Prevention, U.S. Department of Justice, the United States Department of Justice Official Anti-Gang Initiative. Okay, Office of Juvenile Justice and Links to Prevention, the United States Department of Justice, Office of Justice Program, Bureau of Justice Assistance. Since International Narcotics and Law Enforcement Affairs, the United States Department of State, Institute of Intergovernmental Affairs. Okay, Office of Juvenile Justice Links to Prevent, the United States Department of Justice, Offices of Justice Program, Bureau of Justice Assistance, International Narcotics and Law Enforcement Affairs, the United States Department of State, Institute for Intergovernmental Affairs, Gang Resistance, Education, and Training. the GREAT program. The United States Department of Justice Office of Justice Program Office Juvenile Justice Legal Prevention in October 2009. The National Drug, the National Youth In October 2009, the National Youth Gang Center, which had been funded by the Office of Juvenile Justice and Legal Prevention. Okay. In October 2009, the National Youth Gang Center, which had been funded by the Office of Juvenile Justice and Legal Prevention since 1995, merged with the National Gang Center, which had been funded by the Bureau of Justice since 2003. The National Gang Center compilates state laws against gangs. Mr. James C. Howell, Office of Juvenile Justice and Legal Prevention. Okay. The United States Department of Justice Officers of the United States Attorney Manual 1457, Criminal Street Gangs, Statute 18 United States Code 521. The United States Department of Justice Federal Bureau of Investigation National Gang Intelligence Center. The United States Department of Justice Organized Crime and Gang Section, and other. And other federal, state, and local agencies. The United States Department of Justice, Office of Justice Program, National Institute of Justice, sends anti-gang Okay, it's going to be preventing gang membership. Okay. Down. Okay, let me see here. The United States Department of Justice, United States Department of Education, Health and Human Services, Housing and Urban Development, Labor, and the White House Office of National Youth National Crime Prevention Council, Bureau of Justice System. And changing course, preventing gang membership, and also striving to reduce youth violence everywhere. Also anti-hazing. You can go to lawyers.com and be informed about anti-hazing. Like I said, we continue to speak out and complain about the nonsense. I be on my job, be at work, or a place of employment. I shouldn't hear people saying negative things about someone, negative things about someone. it will be anti-gang demonstration, anti-gang protest. Now, get ready to go to the dictionary. All this stuff we're talking about the celebrity athletes and celebrity entertainers. So it will be anti-gang demonstration, anti-gang protest in the very near future. And so we'll continue to speak out and complain. And it's not in vain. It's not in vain. So we're gonna get ready to go to the dictionary. You know, we've been continuing talking about human beings being forcibly taken from sub-Saharan Africa. The majority came to the Western Hemisphere. Then, you know, you have these celebrity athletes and these celebrity entertainers. So, now, you know, the prefixes, suffixes, root words, they are in Merriam-Webster's Third New International Dictionary. They are in Oxford English Dictionary. And so we're gonna get ready to go to the dictionary. Now, the complete Webster's Third New International Dictionary, the complete and total meaning of the word gang, the act, manner, or means of going. This is mobile. Okay, and this is mob. Well, this is sister, sorority fraternity sister. The stupid sorority, the stupid fraternity. The stupid sorority and stupid fraternity. Now, this is Oxford's English Dictionary, complete and total definition, meaning of the word game, action or mode of going, way, passage, a set of things or persons. Now, this is mobile and mob. Now there's stupid sorority and there's stupid fraternity. Now, I said, it's going to be anti-gang demonstration and protest. And don't forget these words: coercion, coerce, sexual coercion, psychological coercion, psychological manipulation, psychological abuse. Now, we know that recently a lot of events going, a lot of events taking place, things happening. And it is a lot of things happening. Could be directly or indirectly related to crime. Gangs, criminals. And what I'm speaking about is the refugee situation. And here in the United States of America, we have this political way of dealing with things. You have the president, the current president in office, and the Democratic Party, Republican Party. And here in the United States of America, been the refugees or people just coming across the border. And the United States of America is in between two nations: Canada to the north and Mexico to the south. Now we don't have these big immigration flow from Canada, but we do have this large number of people coming from Mexico and possibly Central America and South America to come and live here in America. And it's been a lot of controversy about this refugee issue, because there's refugees all over the world. And the main cause of the refugee is war. The main cause of all these people, all these human beings being displaced, being forced to be a refugee, is because of war. That's the first cause, war. Now there are other, if you have a bad economy, people might seek to live somewhere else. Natural disaster. But it's important to always understand what is the cause of it. Instead of attacking people. And for example, people been talking about the wall, including the president, talking about building a wall. No matter how crazy it sounds, but that's not the only. It was a time when they wanted to put more border patrols on the border to stop the immigration. Apparently that didn't work. People still coming. And then I'm gonna drop down to What's this? I'm gonna drop down. Hold on, give me some water. So, and like I say, no, it's been a big issue, the refugee thing. And I mean, it's a serious, when you see people all over the world, because of war. And hearing, the reason why I say so, because, I've been hearing people say, that's the reason why I want to say something, because I've been hearing people say some things that I didn't agree with. Whether you support the wall, but support people who are supporting the wall, people who don't support the wall, people who support putting more border patrol, or who don't support. My thing is this: what's the cause of all this? You understand? Because if you don't deal with the cause of all it, putting a wall ain't gonna mean anything. Putting more border patrol on the border not gonna solve anything. Just look all around the world, all the refugees around the world. If you don't address the issues, get to the cause of the problem, it's gonna still be a problem. It's gonna get worse. Because when you have all these people who are displaced, people have to leave their nation and being forced to seek refuge in another land. And who's to say that those people, the people that you trying to go to the country you trying to go to, what make you think them people might not go to war on you too? See, it's a lot of ethnic violence around the world. People of different ethnic groups, different nationalities, different religions. Just like Israel, for example. The Palestinians, they can't live in Israel. There's a war going on in Israel. Now, where the Palestinians gonna go? Because if they try to go to any other country, it could be a possible another religious war. Because being Arabs or whatever, they try to go to Turkey or Syria, they get accused by other countries of trying to do the same thing, trying to start a war in their country with them. See, it's all kind of wars in Africa, ethnic violence in Central African Republic. There's an ethnic war going on, based religiously based. Where are the refugees gonna go? If they go across the border, it could possibly be the same thing. It could possibly be the same thing. People attacking you because of your ethnic group and all this. And then the religious thing being so if you got to get to the root of the problem. You just can't just say that when we say we're gonna address the issue, we're gonna come up with this. They just say we got a crime problem and we're gonna put more police on the street and we're gonna get them some new police cars to ride in. But yet and still you got people who don't have education, people who don't have jobs, people who don't have housing, but you gonna put more police on the street to solve the crime problem. It don't make sense. You gotta get to the root of the problem. You gotta deal with the education. You got to deal with the lack of jobs. You got to deal with the lack of food. clothing, shelter. You got to address the problem. You got to get to the root of the problem. Sitting around arguing about a border and talking about putting a wall as a solution, and then you're gonna sit around and spend all this time arguing about the wall, about the border patrol. That's not gonna get it. See, this reminds me of. This reminds me of the North American Free Trade Agreement. This what it reminds me of. Cause see, it was the same thing. It was about people coming across the border. Yes, it was. Yes, it was. It was about people coming across the border. So one of the things they wanted to do, the politicians back late 1990s, early 2000s, what did they want? The North American Free Trade Agreement and what was the other one? GATT. It was supposed to be one of those things where we deal with the jobs, education, dealing with the food, dealing with the necessities of life. Now here it is, 2018, and we're still talking about people coming across the border. And now it's not just the people coming across the border, but it's people coming from coming from Syria. There's people coming from sub-Saharan Africa. People coming from Israel and coming from Palestine. People coming from Myanmar now. Look what's happening in Myanmar now. All the refugees. Where they gonna go? Because they can't stay in the country. They've been kicked out. The people who literally have been kicked out of their own country. They've been kicked out. They can't go back. Can't go back. It'll be all out war. And the people in Myanmar don't care. They'll get the guns and they'll kill the people. They don't care. They don't want the people to come to live in the country and kick them out. See, if you don't get to the root of the problem, it's gonna just be a big problem. And then the United Nations is trying to deal with all the refugees around the world. But until you get to the root of the problem, it's gonna get worse. And sitting around arguing about these old artificial solutions, talking about putting a border wall, putting more police on the street, giving the police more guns, giving the border patrols some new uniforms, a new helicopter, drones. We need some more drones. Get the border patrol some more drones. People still coming across the border from Mexico, not counting Mexico. See, think about that. Why is it that you don't have refugees coming from Canada? Because they have a better way of life. They human beings just like the people in Mexico, but they have a better way of life. So we need to make life better for everybody around the world. We need to stop all these wars from being fought. Now we can deal with natural disaster called that what happened in Hawaii, that what happened in Guatemala, natural disaster. But man-made, things, man-made causes. We're gonna have to do something. Something going to get to the root of the problem. Get to the root of the problem. Now, we get ready to end today's video. Now, these are websites you can go to make anti-gang logos. Again, my name is Eric D. Johnson, also known as BrightShine. I live right here in the city of Memphis. It's in the county sheriff, it's in the state of Tennessee. Thank all my fans, my support for your continued encouragement, support. Always put God first. Don't forget what the United Nations has said to every human being on this earth, that human rights, environmental rights is a human right. Environmental rights is a human right. Environmental rights is a human right. You take care of yourself. Wish each and every one of you the very best.